Greetings, friends. As always, it's a high honor to welcome you back to Rick's Garage. Although today it'll be an issue of Rick's Farm and Garden. Well, it's happened again. My Cub Cadet tractor is only running on one cylinder. I just used the machine last Monday, today's Friday, and lo and behold, it's only running on one cylinder, so I'm afraid the rodents may have got into the motor again. Last time they chewed one of the spark plug wires off. So I'm hoping that's not the case, but we're going to pull the cover and see what's going on here. Now to flip up this cover and get it off, you just flip it up and lift it straight up. Now normally you'd have a wire to disconnect the headlights, but I keep it disconnected. I don't use the headlights. I don't need them drawing power. I'll take off this air filter cover first. Pull the air filter off, and there's a couple up in here that I have to undo, if you can see that. So I'm going to get a little more light on the subject and we'll get started. So friends, I've brought out my tractor lift. I'm an old man, it'll be easier for me. I won't have to bend over as far. I'll speed this up. Okay, that'll be high enough. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is pinch off this fuel line. This is a special tool made for that reason. Next, I'm going to disconnect the fuel line from the fuel pump. Now be very careful, these fuel pumps get very brittle and it's very easy to break off this plastic connection. Now I keep a spare fuel pump on hand just for that reason, so if it breaks I've got another one. I'm going to use these special hose pliers to try to loosen that up so I can get it off without breaking it. There it is. Okay, that was a success. Now I'm going to disconnect the fuel line that leads to the carburetor. I'll use the same tool to try to loosen that up so I don't break it. Okay, a little bit of gas came out, but not much. So now, friends, you'll need an 8mm socket to remove these cover bolts. Okay, we got one more back here. I'm going to pull the dipstick out of the way. Now you won't be able to see this, but I've got one in back of the motor here. Okay. Okay, I've got one on top of the motor right here where the air filter cover goes. I've got another one on top here on the other side of where the air filter comes. And there's a one exactly on the opposite side. I'll get off camera. Okay, coming around the other side is another one right here. And like on the other side, there's another one at the back that you're not going to see too well. I'll probably block your vision when I try to get it. Okay. I believe this cover should be just about ready to come up. Okay, the last thing I want to do before I try to lift off this cover is to loosen up this little vacuum line. This fuel pump runs on engine vacuum, and I don't want to destroy the thing, so I want to loosen it up a little bit. All right, it looks like it's going to come off fairly easily. So I'm going to carefully try to lift up this cover now. It seems to be coming up, and I want to get that off, and there we go. All right. So let's see what's going on here. We have some grass inside here, which is not a good sign. So friends, I apologize for the handheld camera, but once again, the little bastards have eaten through my spark plug wire. Looks like they chewed on this wire a little bit and exposed it, but they didn't chew through. So I'm going to put a little liquid tape on there to cover up that. And so it looks like that's all the damage that was done, was just they chewed off my plug wire. The problem is I have to buy this whole coil. I can't just buy the spark plug wire, so I'm going to go ahead and order that right now. God knows how much it'll cost. Like I said, I replaced it once before. I don't remember. I don't think it was too cheap. So I'm going to go order that right now because I need this machine. The replacement part arrived this morning. You can't beat Prime as far as deliveries go. I know it's almost $200 a year now for the membership. But I ordered this part at around 6 p.m. last night, and it was on my doorstep at 11 a.m. this morning. And this is over the weekend. I ordered on a Saturday night, and this is Sunday morning. It's been delivered. You can't argue with that. So what I did actually is I ordered a pair. It was really not that expensive. I paid about 30 bucks for the two of them, and now I'll have an extra one. This has happened before, and I'm sure it'll happen again, so now I've got an extra one on hand if it occurs again. This is the one where the rodent chewed off the wire. The part number is 32-584-06-S. As you can see, I got the pair of them on Amazon for about $30. What I'm going to do right now, friends, is clean up any mouse debris with my shop vac before I start putting this back together. I guess I can pull this plug out. It's no good anymore. There was a lot of debris stuck in the cooling fins of the cylinder head. You don't want that blocked. You want air to flow freely across those surfaces. So with that done, now we can start reassembling the unit. Now I can turn this motor to line up the magneto. This is the surface we're going to be lining up. I'm going to take a little sandpaper to it to clean it. Just a very fine piece of sandpaper, just to kind of clean that up a little bit so I can get an accurate adjustment. I don't think you really need to do this, but You can't hurt. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay. All right. You'll notice as you turn this to the location, it's under a little bit of pressure. You're on the compression stroke. Friends, I'm ready to install the new module. I called it earlier a coil, but evidently they call it a module. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this little speed flapper up out of the way to give you a better view. I think it would be easier to plug this little wire in now. And what's going to happen is the magnet is going to draw the module in, as it has. And I'm going to put my little shim. Now it's supposed to be 10 thousandths. The closest thing I could find was a 12,000 shim. It's not rocket science. Years ago we used to use a book match cover to set these. Kind of hard to pull it away from the magnet, so I'm going to try to get this on first, and hopefully I won't block your vision too badly. There. Alright, so my shim is in place, and I've got this lined up with the bolt holes. Good, that was easy enough. Alright, we just got to screw it in. One started. Get the other one started. I'm going to screw these in by hand because I don't want to strip these threads with my power tool. There's probably a specific torque you're supposed to put on these, but I just go by feel. I know I'm screwing into aluminum, so you don't want to put them so tight that you break the nut or strip the threads. Alright, that's plenty tight enough. They're not going to go anywhere. Now, I said earlier this was 8mm. You can also use 5/16. 8mm and 5/16 are just about exactly the same size. There's a few sizes that the standard sizes match up with the metric sizes. 5/16 is one, and 8mm is one. And the other one is 19mm and 3/4 are virtually the same size also. So I've got to get my shim out of there now. So I'm going to try to turn it back this way so I don't lose the shim into the motor. And there I've got it. The other thing I'm going to do, as I said earlier, the mouse or whatever the rodent was, it chewed this wire. It didn't cut through the wire, but just removed some of the insulation. So I'm going to put on a little liquid tape to cover that. So this is what I'm using, Permatex liquid electrical tape. It comes with a huge brush, and I only need a little bit of it, so I'm just going to use a Q-tip to apply the liquid tape. Just get a little bit on there to cover that up. This is great stuff. It's kind of difficult to get in there and put electrical tape around that, so this stuff works great. I'll put another coat on it. It'll dry fast and it'll seal the wire. Matter of fact, I used this stuff the last time the rodents got in here. You can see right in here, this is all the liquid tape. All right, good. I just want to mention in showing you that Permatex liquid tape that they do not sponsor me. I do not accept product sponsors on my channel. Everything I use on my channel I pay for with my own money. Therefore, I can give you an honest review or an opinion of the products I review. Let's put this little flapper back so I don't forget it. Before I put the cover on, I'm going to test it for spark. Make sure we're getting a spark. And I'm going to turn off the lights and hook up my spark tester. And we'll see what happens. Okay, one thing very important I want to mention, friends, before we test for spark. If you're going to turn this motor over, make sure you put this dipstick back in. If you do not do that, you're going to take one hell of a bath. Oil's going to spray everywhere. So I learned that the hard way quite a few years ago. So just make sure you throw that dipstick back in before you turn over the motor. So now I'm going to plug in my spark tester. Connect the boot to the spark plug. And plug your module wire in. And now I'm going to close up the garage, turn out the lights, and we're going to see if we get a spark. Okay, let's cross our fingers. I did not want the motor to start, but you can see we are getting a spark. All right, so I'm going to plug the thing back in. All right, that's plugged in nicely. That will go in there, and this will kind of put somewhere off out of the way when I put on the cover. Well, friends, as per usual, this video is getting a lot longer than I intended it to be. Off camera, I washed the engine cover and slipped it back on. Now I'm going to go ahead off camera and screw the bolts back in. You don't need to see me do that. You saw me take them out. And I'm also going to go ahead and connect up the fuel line. So we'll do that, and we'll come back when we're ready to try this thing out. Well, friends, everything is back together again. I've been using it around the yard, and as you can hear, the engine is running absolutely fine now. One thing I did do that I didn't mention is I changed the spark plug on that side. I had run the machine around that first day on only one cylinder, and I was afraid I may have fouled that plug. So before I started it up, I put a new plug in on that side. Ran a little bit rough at first, but it smoothed right out, and now it's running beautiful. So that's all I've got, friends. I want to thank you once again for watching Rick's Garage. Before I go, I will post 2 videos to your left, of which I hope you find of interest. And to your right, as always, will be a picture of my avatar in the form of my very trusty German Shepherd. By all means, feel free to click on that should you wish to subscribe to my channel. So thanks again for watching, and we hope to see you all very, very soon.